Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Estate Planning TV. I'm your host, Christopher Small, and this is the internet's most passionate show about estate planning. And real quick, if you are listening to this intro, then what you are about to hear is one of my recent Facebook Live videos. If you haven't seen one of those before or didn't know about them, then please go and check out my Facebook page, CMS Law Firm, so that you don't miss them. All right, without further ado, here we go. Hey everybody, Christopher Small here. And if you are a parent without an estate plan, this is a video you must watch. Now, before we get into the topic of today's video, which is that everybody has an estate plan, I wanted to tell you real briefly who I am. My name is Chris Small. I'm the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning. That's what we do. And I'm kind of making this video and other videos to just sort of get the word out about estate planning. Today, what I wanted to talk about was the idea and the concept that everyone has an estate plan. So even if you think you don't have an estate plan, you do have one. And I wanted to take a couple minutes to really talk about what that means and how that can affect you and your kids and your family and even your own personal life. So basically, there are two ways that you can have an estate plan. You can make your own, or the government can basically make one for you. And if you don't have an estate plan, then the government has one for you. We're going to talk about what that looks like really quickly. And at the end of the day, my goal for everyone that I talk to about this kind of stuff is to have you just make an informed decision. If when I'm done, you decide, hey, that's cool for me, I like the government's plan, I'll just stick with that, it's all good, right? But making decisions without knowing all of the facts, without having all of the information in front of you, that's when the stuff gets really dangerous and can really hurt your family. So let's start at the beginning and we'll go to the end. So estate planning really covers you in two specific areas. The first is if you are alive but incapacitated or unable to make your own decisions. The second is when you die. That's the one most of us know about. And the first sort of thing, the first document, the first part of your estate plan that covers you when you're alive or incapacitated is called a power of attorney. What a power of attorney does is give someone the ability to sort of manage your financial affairs, manage your life if you can't do that. And think of the two classic examples are you're in a car accident, right? And you're in a coma, or you have a traumatic brain injury, or you have Alzheimer's, right? And you can't make decisions on your own anymore. What the power of attorney does is it names that person who makes those decisions for you. If you do not have your own estate plan, you still have the ability to get a power of attorney. It's called a guardian. And in this case, if you don't have your own power of attorney, the guardian, your guardian, the person that's making decisions for you, is a person that doesn't know you, that has no idea what's important to you, and that is appointed and chosen by the court. And that appointment isn't made until a relatively lengthy process goes on to ensure that you in fact cannot make those decisions on your own. So not only do you have a significant amount of time that passes before your bills can be paid, before your people can be taken care of, you don't get to pick who that person is. That's number one. Number two is medical power of attorney. It's kind of like the regular old power of attorney, but it's specifically for medical decisions. Now, if you don't name someone in a medical power of attorney, what most states will do is they have set a hierarchy. So like your spouse is first, then your kids, then your parents, right? And on and on and on down the line. The problem, again, with this is that you don't get to pick. So if you're married, I can assume that your spouse probably is the person you would choose, but your kids, you may not be wanting them to make those decisions, right? Your parents, maybe you're estranged from them. Maybe you have close friends that know you better than even your family does and know what you would want, and that those are the people that you would trust to sort of make these kinds of decisions. If you don't have that person named in your own estate plan, then again, the government has decided for you who's going to make that decision by setting this hierarchy of people. Next is healthcare directive. Healthcare directive is basically, do you pull the plug or not? Right? This is a statement of your intent. And
at the end of the day, the person that is your medical power of attorney would probably end up being in charge of making a choice on what to do in that scenario. But again, if you haven't taken the time to fill this information out, then they're going to make a decision guessing what you would have wanted. There's always going to be, I guarantee you, that question about whether or not they did the right thing in their mind, and it's something that can haunt people for a long time. By the way, let me back up real quick again too. If you don't have a power of attorney and something happens to you and you have kids, who is going to take care of your kids in the short term? Let's say you're in a coma for 6 months. Who's going to take care of your kids? Who's going to be able to take them to the doctor if they need to, enroll them for school, do all the things that parents do that no one is going to have the authority to do? Okay, another big hurdle that people face. And then last but not least, now we're talking about when you die, right? If you have kids, especially if they're under 18, the will does one very important thing. It chooses the guardian of your kids. It chooses the people that are going to raise your kids. If you don't appoint this person, if you don't assign this person, again, a court is going to choose. They're not going to know anything about your values. They're not going to know anything about what is important to you. They're not going to know anything about how you want your kids to be raised, and they're going to pick someone that looks the best on paper. And I don't know about you, but in my family, those aren't always the people that I would want to be sort of in charge of raising my kids, right? Because we always have different things that we want. They may look great on paper, but they may not discipline their own kids the way that you would want to. For example, the other thing that the will does is it tells the world where your stuff goes. And maybe you just wanted to go to your spouse and then to your kids. That's great. That's pretty much what would happen if you didn't have a will. But anything that you would want to go to anyone else would be lost. It wouldn't go to them no matter what. No matter what you told them, no matter what you wrote down on a piece of paper, no matter what you emailed them, no matter what you texted them, it doesn't matter. You look at the rules, bang, 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 the government picks where all your stuff goes. All right, so what this really is again, a call to action to just think about your estate plan. Think about the decisions that you're making for your family and make informed decisions about this kind of stuff. All right, now, the last thing I want to do is just invite you to please share this with someone if you think it was valuable. If you know someone that might learn a little bit about estate planning from this, that you think might be interested in this or might want to know about this stuff, you've been having a conversation and this sort of sets things clear, please share it with them. Really appreciate it. And again, thank you for your time and have a great day. See ya.